Good Monday morning. Welcome to the News Now. I'm Cyria Sandlin. Thanks for waking up and joining us to start off your week. If you missed Daybreak, we will get you caught up on everything you need to know right now. We are live on WTOC.com, our news app, Amazon Fire, Roku, Twitter, and Facebook. So join the conversation, leave us a comment, and let's get started. Our top story this morning is Tropical Storm Michael. The Chatham Emergency Management Agency, better known as SEMA, is working on OPCON 4. Let's get straight to First Alert meteorologist Cutter Martin with the newest tropical models. Cutter?
Yes, Ria, and SEMA likely to continue to provide us updates today and tomorrow, so expect that to be kind of fluid, and we probably will get updates from them later today. We're watching Tropical Storm Michael, definitely looking visually better organized here in the far northwestern Caribbean. So center of circulation somewhere within here. Notice how those bright white cloud tops are now wrapping completely around it. Very tall thunderstorm clouds, and they're expanding outward in all directions, even in the face of wind shear, which we all know tropical systems do not like. This is strengthening. Not concerning per se, but definitely interesting to note because it's going to be moving into an environment that is even more favorable for strengthening that will allow it to perhaps rapidly strengthen in the Gulf of Mexico. The update this morning is to have this achieving nearly Category 3 status by early Wednesday morning. Would not be surprised, though, if that actually occurred a little bit earlier, and would not be surprised as well if the forecast strength is bumped up in later outlooks. Again, this is a fluid situation, the Hurricane Center's official forecast, but we have to talk about all the variables here. And regardless, it's not going to make a direct landfall in our neck of the woods, but its remnants are going to move very quickly over the Georgia Coastal Empire and South Carolina Low Country as we get into the day Thursday, perhaps as early as Wednesday night having impacts, but the nastiest weather Thursday, and then it's quickly moving out of here Thursday night into Friday as it looks right now. But timing is also a little bit in question. Again, there are a lot of variables to talk about, a lot of data to kind of go through over the next couple of days, but want you to know Wednesday, Thursday, plan for severe weather on those days, and go ahead and check your hurricane plans, check your hurricane kits, and we'll talk more about the extended forecast in just a moment. First, I want to give you a look at the metro. We do have rain up in Beaufort right now. The city of Savannah, though, is dry at the moment. The heaviest rain is actually into eastern Beaufort County, moving in from Colleton County, north side of Beaufort, Trask Parkway going up towards Sheldon, maybe Chisholm getting rain right now. Sheldon next in line within the next 15 to 20 minutes. So we already have some showers this morning. We're talking scattered downpours this afternoon, even as early an increase in rain, maybe 10, 11 o'clock this morning going through the early evening hours. Your Tuesday looks like a wet day. Wednesday, first alert weather day, but primarily late in the day, Wednesday night, and even more so Thursday. Just looking at rain chances here, Thursday is going to be a washout as it looks right now, and that is the day with the greatest chance for severe weather, possibly isolated tornadoes, the kind of winds that could knock out power, cause tree damage. Again, it all depends on the exact track here. Some data that suggests maybe lesser impacts, but there's other data that suggests more. So I know I'm throwing a ton of information your way. Just know that you need to plan for severe weather Wednesday night into Thursday as the remnants of Michael move on by after a Florida Panhandle landfall. I'm going to go more in depth, really explain what we're talking about here, what we can expect coming up. The Weather Now at 11 a.m. here just a little bit later on this platform. You can catch it on Facebook, Roku, Amazon Fire, WTOC.com as well.
Well, this time, 2 years ago, Chatham County was dealing with a different tropical storm. It is the second anniversary of Hurricane Matthew hitting our area. We want to show you some video of these flood rescues. You remember those in Pooler? That storm slammed coastal Georgia and South Carolina on October 7th and 8th in 2016. Debris, flooding, and power outages were problems many people had to deal with in the storm's aftermath. Also, you probably remember the video of President Street flooding. And once the storm was over, evacuees were not immediately allowed to return home because crews first had to assess the damage that covered the roadways. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused the nation's deadliest transportation accident in more than 9 years. This happened Saturday night in upstate New York. Investigators haven't released any details yet, but we know 20 people were killed. A limo carrying 18 people crashed into another vehicle, which then hit and killed 2 bystanders. And tonight, President Trump will hold a ceremony for Justice Brett Kavanaugh at the White House. Justice Kavanaugh was sworn in by Chief Justice John Roberts and retired Justice Anthony Kennedy Saturday night. It was one of the chamber's closest Supreme Court confirmations in more than a century, made possible with the support of West Virginia Democrat Joe Manchin and Maine Republican Susan Collins. Collins said the FBI report on Christine Blasey Ford's allegations of sexual assault were a factor.
As a matter of fairness, what I decided to use as a standard was the question of, is it more likely than not that Brett Kavanaugh assaulted Christine Ford? And there was no corroborating evidence that he did so.
Kavanaugh was confirmed by a vote of 50 to 48. That's the smallest Senate confirmation margin for a Supreme Court justice in 137 years. November 6th is quickly approaching, and the deadline in Georgia to vote in those races is even closer. The voter registration cutoff for anyone who wants to vote in November is tomorrow. Just visit the Georgia Secretary of State website, and you can register using the free Georgia Secretary of State mobile app. Also, good news for those in the Low Country. You now have more time to register to vote if you haven't already. State officials announced an extension of the voter registration deadline last week after a court order. You now have until October 17th to register in person or online. Officials say the extension was necessary to help people who were impacted by flooding and damage from Hurricane Florence. The extension applies to every voter in every county in South Carolina. Developing this morning, Savannah police looking for a man a witness say robbed someone while wearing a gorilla mask. Police say it happened a little before 11:30 last night at the Murphy's gas station on Abercorn Street and Apache Avenue. Again, that witness described the suspect as a man wearing a gorilla mask, gray gloves, and a black trench coat with a hood. The witness says that the man may have been carrying a gun. If you know anything, call Georgia Southern Police. Well, developing this morning, Jacksonville CSX officials are investigating after a man was killed by a train Sunday in Richmond Hill. Richmond Hill police say a 20-year-old man was hit by a train yesterday underneath the viaduct on Highway 17 just before Harris Trail. Police say that call came in a little after 3 p.m. The conductor told police he blew the train horn multiple times. CSX told law enforcement it takes anywhere from a mile to a mile and a half to stop a train. The Richmond Hill fire captain says the conductor finally stopped the train, got out, and started looking for the man hit as well.
It is very rare that we have these types of incidents here in the city, thankfully, but people should definitely keep this in mind and take precautions when they're walking and operating around railroad tracks because it can be very dangerous.
Keep you updated as soon as this investigation continues. Today, firefighters are promoting Fire Prevention Week. They will hold a smoke alarm demo and home fire safety class for seniors at Carrie Hilliard's on Abercorn. It starts at 11:45. On Thursday, they'll be teaching at the Child Care Network. And Friday, Savannah Fire will teach kids about kitchen fire safety. That's happening at the Savannah Fire Station 9. Then next Monday, Savannah Fire will host a home and cooking fire safety class for those in the Thompson Square neighborhood. If you're looking for a job, Goodwill is hosting 2 hiring events for more than 25 positions. Interviews will be conducted during the event and on-the-spot job offers are available. The first event takes place tomorrow from 10:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. at the Richmond Hill store. The second is Wednesday, the same times at the Sally Mood Job Connection Center. We have all of this information on WTOC.com. Cutter?
Yes, Aria, and traffic this morning also a little bit busy. We have a couple crashes, few crashes being worked. Right now, Highway 21 at Bonnie Bridge, but probably a little bit further to the north, may have actually occurred near International Boulevard there in Port Whitworth. Crews on the scene to clear that, likely improving here shortly, and you are already getting through. Another crash reported Littlehurst Parkway in the 100 block there, again, northwestern Chatham County. Some minor delays expected in that area, and more recently, Abercorn 204 at Sweetwater Station, a 4-vehicle crash. You're getting through, but use caution and expect at least a little bit of a delay in that area. Overall, though, the map's not looking too bad. 21 is delayed a little bit. Georgia 30s, folks come into town. Also 204 heading towards Richmond Hill, or at least 17 and 95 to get down to Richmond Hill. It's a little bit delayed. Right now, the East Side, Islands Expressway, and Highway 80 going through Thunderbolt. There are few, if any, delays, and your low country travel appears to be pretty much status quo for a Monday morning. Saria.
All right, well, people from across Savannah gathered in Forsyth Park to enjoy a picnic and free music over the weekend. The headlining event was a performance by the Savannah Philharmonic, which celebrated its 10th anniversary. The night also featured a cannon salute and a performance by the Third ID Band. Jonas Snedzer plays in the band at his own high school and says hearing the different bands in the Savannah Philharmonic play his favorite songs made his picnic the perfect Sunday before school.
The people and the music and the orchestra. They played Jurassic Park and many other songs that I really like.
WTOC was a proud sponsor of the event. Now, taking a look at some trending stories to the weekend box office, Sony's creature feature Venom took the top spot. Based on the comic book of the same name, the flick made an estimated $80 million in the United States. That was enough to set a new record for best October weekend box office. A Star is Born came in at number 2. That remake of the 1930s classic, which stars Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper, exceeded expectations by taking in nearly $43 million. So I want to know, did you see any good movies this weekend? Did you see Venom? Did you see A Star is Born? Let me know what you think. And Taylor Swift is putting her support behind 2 Democratic candidates running for Congress and Senate in Tennessee. Swift said on Instagram Sunday she is usually one to stay away from politics, but some events over the past 2 years have inspired her to voice her opinions. She says she supports candidates who fight for LGBTQ rights and are against discrimination and racism. She urged fans to register to vote. So let's see what you guys are saying this morning. I know a lot of you are commenting about this tragic crash that happened in upstate New York in Albany with the people who died in the limousine, and a lot of you are kind of shocked that 20 people were in one limousine, but I will let you know, I just looked this up. According to Fox News and several other media outlets, this was actually a 2001 Ford Excursion limousine. So I don't know if you've ever been in a stretch SUV limo. They're huge. They can fit a ton of people. And this was actually a replacement vehicle after the rented bus they had broke down. So they weren't even supposed to be in that one in the first place. So that is just a very sad story. And of course, we're going to continue to follow that one for you. We're also going to continue to follow Tropical Storm Michael and give you all of these updates. And make sure you join us again. We'll have another update for you at 10 o'clock, just a couple of hours away. Have a great day.